I'm sorry? I did. And to Twitch and to YouTube. Oh, hello. Huh? Don't think so. You can double check. I'm sorry? I just wanted to make sure, since this is the first time. I don't know if we're up and running yet, but if we are up and running, do fast forward a couple minutes if you're watching a... no, it's still waiting for stream here. Is it up? Am I up? Okay, so Facebook is going up. Anyway, yeah, a little behind because I got caught up doing some stuff. Oops, and went, whoa, I'm supposed to be doing something. And so here we are. So I'm going to start here in just a minute because I'm behind by a minute today. But I'm close. I'm close. We're very close. Let's see. Make sure I've got everything going on. Pretty much. No torch today. All right. So apparently I am good on Facebook. This is good. I'm good today because the weather is churning. Looks like we're going to have a beautiful day today in Northeast Ohio. It's supposed to be 75. Crazy, crazy, crazy. In March. What is it? March 24th. March. Wow. Yeah. So there it is. Let's see. Do I have everything? I think I got everything. Oh, oops. Almost everything. Okay, I've got my stone. All right, so here we are. It's 101. Let's get started. Are you ready, honey? As always, Andy is in my ear helping me along, letting me know what's going on out there. So hello to everybody on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, and Facebook. Thanks for coming by and hanging out. So today is Wednesday, part of week 53, March 24th. We are doing step-by-step surprise today. If those of you who are new and do not know what step-by-step surprise is, it is a surprise project. And if you register for the kit, then you will get all the instructions and the details for the project. I don't tell you what it is. You will have to guess based on the name and what is in the description of the materials and the tools list. You know, sometimes it works out, and well, as far as I know, it's always worked out. I haven't had anybody not like the project, so I don't know. And yes, you can still order after the project has been revealed. So today what we're going to do is, it's going to be an easy day. We're going to break this up into two parts. So today we're going to prep all the metal, and then next week we're going to solder and put it all together. But here's what you will need. You should have, by the way, gotten in your kit, if you had ordered one, a printed template. But I also sent it to you last night on your email. But you need to be aware of what the size is when you print it. So make sure that it matches the size that's listed there, okay? So what you'll need today, you'll need a bench block, would make life a lot more easy. A pair of scissors would probably be a good idea for the template. A pair of cutters, a leather mallet, a saw. You can, by the way, do this with a bench shear, but you're going to find out really quickly why I don't do it with a bench shear and I'm going to do it with a saw. Okay, it will really be helpful. Anyway, so a multi-looping plier. You can definitely use a round nose plier, but I'm finding that the multi-looping plier, especially for this project, because of all the different sizes, is really, really helpful. Okay, a bench pin for sawing, of course, some cut lube, and depending, you may or may not need the rubber cement. You know, what's sort of funny is I was having a conversation with somebody, and I don't know, I just assumed that everybody has rubber cement at home. Isn't it a staple? It's sort of like Elmer's glue. You should have Elmer's glue too, right? But apparently not everybody does. So you want to, you know, as a jeweler, I totally keep it in stock always, because especially for sawing projects, you never know when you're going to need it. So make sure you keep some of that. All right, so the template, let's talk about the template for a second. Let me go ahead and zoom in for you. So the template was based on this one, okay? This is the the cloud template. If you need one or would like one, we do have it on the website. And I totally forgot to give Andy the link, but Andy, if you can do a search on that on the website under cloud, you'll find a link for it, and Andy will post that for you. But in any case, it's based on the cloud template. A lot of you guys already have this template because you attended the duet class that happened during metal immersion. Okay, so this is the same template, except we're going to use the smaller one. I think you all use like either this one or this one for the duet ring. But anyway, so if you notice, it is the same as the paper template that was given to you, and there it is, right? So you want to make sure that you either use a template or you can cut out some paper, and I'm going to show you how to do both. Obviously, if you are using the plastic template, simply put it down, and with your Sharpie, we are going to trace this out, just like so. But here's the key to this, is that we really don't need the top and the bottom here. Okay, so we're going to end up with this. Okay, I realize you don't know what this is going to be, but I think you guys can guess already what it is. Anyway, so this is where we're headed. But in the instructions, when you get them later today, I make a reference to this as a dog bone because I didn't know what else to call this shape. All right, but then I'm going to take this and move it right up here. You see that? And we're just going to draw in this curve. It'll make life so much easier if you just do it this way. Okay, just like so. Now, if you don't have the template, what you will do is you'll cut the paper one out. You know, hold on a second. My camera seems to be really high tonight or today. So I'm going to move that down a little bit. So I'm going to cut this out. And I'm working on copper instead of silver because I already made one. Unlike a lot of the step-by-step surprise projects that usually I wouldn't have made one yet, this one I have. So I'm going to go ahead and rubber cement that on. So if you are using the paper template, this is how you're going to do it, okay? Of course, you can use Elmer's glue. I just find that rubber cement is a lot less messy. So I'm going to put some on there, and I'm going to put some on my metal. So both on the paper and onto the metal. Dry that a little bit. And by the way, if you're registered for the duet ring coming up at Virtually Ever Crafting, you're going to get the template. So it'll be in there for you. Okay, so now that both are dry, you're going to put it right down on there like so. Okay, make sure that's nice and dry before you start cutting. I'm going to go ahead and jump in and start cutting this one because I like that one better than the paper one. I find that when you can draw it, it's a lot better than using paper because the paper sometimes shifts and that's just annoying. Here's a tip for you too. If you're using the paper, you might want to make 2 copies just in case that it does shift. At least you already have a backup and then you can glue that right back on. All right, so here I'm just going to trim this down just a little bit, like so. Okay, we'll flatten that out just a little bit. So you'll do this on your sheet metal. Okay, so again, I mentioned that you can use a shear to cut this, but the cuts are so small, I find it really challenging. So for me, the best thing to do is go ahead and use a saw on a bench pin. So give me a second here. I'm going to set up my bench pin. And switch cameras. Oops. Okay, hold on. So I hope the weather's turning for everybody. We actually have our windows open. Oh my gosh, it's so nice to have windows open again. It's amazing how we miss those little things. Okay, so here we go. So our template, let's see, we're gonna move that just a little bit. And we're just going to saw away. Oops. A little bit of cut lube is always helpful. It helps the saw blade glide a little bit better. Okay. Nice long strokes when you're sawing. Hold your saw gently. Do not put a death grip on your saw. And notice how I'm using the entire saw blade. I'm not doing this, right? And so when you're doing this, you want to put your eyes in front of the blade as you're working. Let's see, I'm going to bring that in a little bit closer for you. Okay. Nice long strokes. Don't force your saw blade. You'll break it. And we're just going to follow it. Make a decision if you want to follow the outside edge or the inside edge. I usually prefer the outside edge because it's more precise, because that's the edge that's running along your template. But if you're working on a printout, then you just need to decide inside or outside, because the printout is really perfect, right? There's no question. So, remember, don't fight your blade. If it gets caught, just back up and start over, okay? I'm using a number 2 saw blade. That's about, for the most part, that's all I use. There. So you're going to work your way all the way around. Okay, there we are. Woohoo! And you can see there's my shape. Okay? So if you're looking really closely, you'll see it is not perfect. So here's where I'm going to take out my needle nose saw blade. I'm sorry, needle nose file, and I'm going to make it perfect. So if I have any jagged edges or I have any curves that aren't, that don't look right, I'm just going to make them similar at this point. I like working off the edge of my bench pin because it gives it a lot of nice leverage. Okay, we're just going to do that, and like so. Let's see. Going to a larger file on this last edge here. Because anytime I start slipping, I switch around on tools until I find one that's more comfortable for me. And you need to start doing that for yourself too. If it doesn't work, it doesn't mean that you can't switch to a different tool. You want to find the tool that is good for you. Okay, so here, just a little bit more. There we go. This one wasn't great on this shape. I think it's going to be the back side. Okay, so then I'm going to take a little bit of sandpaper. Doesn't matter what kind of sandpaper you have. And I'm just going to take off any of those burrs and the sharp edges. Just a little bit. I always like to refine my metal to the point where it feels good to the hand. Because you don't want to do this later. It's just annoying to do it afterwards. So when you have the opportunity, go ahead and clean up your edges. It's nice to do it up front. Okay, so there's our piece. By the way, this project was listed as an intermediate piece. As you're working through, you'll see how small this really is, and you're like going to be like, oh, we're doing really, really small stuff. But you also know me, and well, you should know me by now. I do like things really small. I like detail work. It's, you know, why I like it is not only do I like the look, but I like the challenge. I know some of you guys are eye rolling out there. The challenge, like you need another challenge. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and swap out cameras here in just a second. Okay, there we go. So we have our first piece. So remember, we're just we're just prepping today. So we're gonna take all the little pieces that we have and prep them. Okay, so again, we don't reveal all the particulars on the project because it is a surprise project. And if you would like to get the particulars, you can do that by ordering a kit. That's part of the deal on Wednesdays, typically when we do surprise projects. You know what? Let's be honest. It's an angle. This is how we're trying to make money. It is what it is. Anyway, so if you like the particulars, you can definitely still order the kits, okay? Okay, so Yvonne made a note that it is too big, which is sort of interesting. You know, let me get back to you on that, Yvonne. Let me check into that because I measured that a couple times. So we'll see what happens here. Potentially, it might have printed up too big. Let's see. Anyway, okay, so it's moving forward. Next thing you're going to do is you're going to take out the bead wire and you're going to make a frame for just the outside of the 3 half circles, right? The top and the bottom. So this is also a choice for you, okay? There will be a front and a back. If you find it is too much work or too hard to solder, you may want to consider doing just the front side. So you choose one or the other. There's like 3 different ways to approach this, okay? One, you can make, using the bead wire, you can make a continuous shape to follow this. And that will make soldering a lot easier because it's only 1 point. You could also solder right on top. Okay, so then essentially you'll make 2 of them. Okay, or you can do it the hard way. The way I'm going to do it is we're going to make little shapes and I'm going to cut 6 of them. There we go. Okay, so let me zoom in a little bit so you can see what's going on. Okay, so there we are. I used the fourth larger size, that middle size there, and we're going to make little shapes for this. Like so, as you can see. I'm going to make another one for the other side. You know, I'm going to pull out my tweezers. I think that's going to help me a lot more here. Like so. Okay. Oh, you know, I was also thinking as I'm sitting here making these shapes, it could be that you feel that your sheet metal was too narrow because remember, we cut out, we don't need the full width. We don't need the full width of this one. We just need the width of this one, right? Because we're going to cut these out anyway. So it could be that, but we'll see here. I will go double check that when we are done here. So here's my second one. And then I'm going to do 4 more to go on the sides there. Again, we're going to use a little bead wire to do this. You know, if this isn't quite your taste, if you have some round wire or some square wire, I just thought this was, you know, a nice change up of design is all. So then I'm going to do something like that. Get some more wire. Okay. So in the end, what's going to end up happening is I'm going to solder all these pieces together. Remember what I said earlier. You could have done this in one piece and created these curves, or you can do 3 pieces like I'm doing for each side, okay? It depends on what you're comfortable with. You could have also, instead of cutting out the shape, create the shape onto the rectangle sheet metal and then saw around the bead wire after you solder it. So many ways to skin this cat. Okay, so I'm doing approximates here, and then I'm gonna trim it up in a minute. Just like so. I know these are too big, but I'm going with it for right now, for the moment. Because they're so small to work with, it's sort of challenging. Okay. Okay. Tedious work on this one. Okay. So now I'm going to make little adjustments, and this is what you'll want to do, okay? So also, depending on your cutter, if you don't have a great cutter, make sure that those ends are nice and flush. All right. So a couple choices here. Hold on, let me play with that and I'll show you. Okay. Okay. So make sure that you file your edges of the wire, okay? Oops, sorry. I dropped my tweezer and it pierced its way into the bench block. Okay, so here, what you want is you want to make sure that these edges here where they connect are nice and filed down so that they don't have like that beveled edge from your cut. So go ahead and file those, right? But you'll see the difference between the top and the bottom here, okay? So these are design choices that you need to make. You can make it so that it's really nice and snug, like so, or you can make the design so that it sort of has some space between the wire and the sheet metal. It's just a design choice, okay? I'm going to choose to go with this one. I like it. I like it a little bit better. It's sort of interesting. So I'm just going to sit here and I'm going to play with this because it's a little too, some of these pieces are a little too big for me. So I'm just going to trim that down, and I'm using a flush cutter. That's why I don't need to file it. Okay. There we are. It's gonna take a few minutes here. Nothing like good detail work. You see, so it's starting to come together. So this one's still off a little bit. I'm cutting one bead off at a time just to have good measure. There we go. Okay. If you want to, and you can be totally anal retentive here, you can sit here and count all these beads and do the same on the other one. Just saying, it's an approach. It's an approach I won't be taking, but it's an approach. Go. And this one I'm going to open up just a little bit. It's a little too narrow. Okay. 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 So I'm pretty happy with that. And I'm going to set that aside. Like so. So what's going to happen eventually next week, we'll do the soldering next week after we prep some more pieces here. So then we're going to end up soldering at those points to the base plate, okay? The next part of the design is to put granules. So it is also up to you how many granules you want to chase down. So you can have 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, or you can have 2, or heck, you can have even more and put some in the middle if you wanted to, okay? All right, so now I'm going to set that aside. Hold on. Grab a piece of paper here. So I'm going to set that aside for now. Sort of want to keep it where it needs to be, again, for next week. Okay. Before we make the granules, I'm going to go ahead and make the bezel cup. That's where your gallery wire came in. It's a teeny weeny little stone. That's why we're using teeny weeny little bezel wire. So again, I think we're going to go with the second to largest size. And I'm just going to bend it around. It's the easiest way to go, okay? Like so. And measure that. Obviously too big, but that's okay. I'm going to trim it anyway and work it down. You can also do this on a round bezel mandrel if that's better for you. And we're just going to start trimming that. A little bit at a time. You don't want to go too far too fast because more than likely you'll make it too short and then you'll have to start over. And what did I just say? I made it too short. Damn it. Okay. We'll do that again. Yeah, it's good practice, right? Oy, oy, oy. Okay, I'm going to go a size down because I feel like I picked the wrong one. Yeah, okay. So I picked the second to largest size. I'm going to go to the third largest, so back to that middle one. Whoops. I made it too big, and then I cut it too small. And right when I told you not to do that, what did I do? Okay, there we are. Try that again. And we're just going to push that in, just like so. Okay. Oh my goodness, what is wrong with me today? Third time's a charm? Jiminy crickets. I can also go get a smaller stone, but I won't do that. Oh my gosh, what is wrong? All right, anybody need a bezel cup? Let me know. Ugh. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna try that again. Okay, this time I'm gonna cut it way too big. I know I will. Just, again, to be careful not to cut it too small. Wow, that's so weird. Okay, I cut it from, either I'm losing my eyesight or it's just a bad day. It's not that bad a day. Okay, So I have a tiny little bit of an overlap, so we're going to take a tiny little bit off. It's teeny weeny. And then I'm going to pull out my chain nose pliers, and I'm going to shore that up with the chain nose pliers. Here we go. You see those ends? We're just going to bring that together. So then you'll solder that with some hard solder, okay? So that edge there. So I'm going to put a little bit of solder on that, put it on my board, and then we'll solder in a minute after we make granules. So just, okay, I've lost my joint. What the heck? Eyesight's going today. It's tired. Make sure that your edge is together perfectly. I'm just going to put some on the inside. You can see it's just a tiny little bit. There we go. Can you see that? It's just a little tiny bit, just to keep that together. You don't have to go crazy with this because we're going to solder it down on that back plate anyway. Okay. So then for your granules, again, you'll make 2 to 4. You can even make, 8 or 9 if you want to create more of a design with it. Just remember, the more pieces you have, the harder this becomes. So we're going to flatten our wire just a little bit. Make sure you're using the fine silver wire. And oops, pull out your ruler. I'm going to cut 1/4 inch pieces. Yeah, teeny weeny. Okay, nice. And the reason why you want to flatten it is so that it doesn't roll away on you when you go to torch it. Okay, so you want to cut 4 of these, 2 to 4 of these. I already have 1 made, so we're going to do 3. Let's pull that camera out. Okay. I'm on a magnesia block today, just because it was convenient. You can do this on a solder board too. So I've got 1, 2, 3, plus my bezel is down here. Hard to see. Let's see if I can get the camera in just a little bit for you. There you go. So you can see what's going on. Okay. So I'm just going to gently solder the bezel first, and then I'll make granules from the other ones. Now, do this gently. You see how small that flame is? Just a little bit. You don't want to melt this. They're very easy to melt. And then that's done. It's so small, it's going to go that quickly. If you are doing much more than that, you're going to melt it. Okay, and I also notice I have my points down and the flat side up instead of doing it this way. Because people have a tendency when they're doing the gallery, when they're soldering the gallery wire, to melt off the points. So, just a little bit of insurance. So I'm going to go ahead and quench that and throw it right into the pickle, and then we'll make the granules. So one at a time, we're just going to put direct heat, lots and lots of heat on the blue tip, right on each piece of metal. Just like so. The cut metal was a 1/4 inch of fine silver. And you see it'll just create a granule. And I'm going to grab that right before it cools so that it doesn't stick to the board. It's going to stick anyway. Okay. So quench it. And I'm going to put it on my workbench here. If there's any residue on the bottom of the of the granules. You can roll it around on some sandpaper. You know what? I'm going to roll it out around on my workbench, and it will work those granules. It'll work the residue from the magnesia block off. If you have charcoal on there, do the same. Yeah. Again, it depends on how stuck it is that you might need some sandpaper. Okay. You know, Sarah Thompson had a great little trick in her class. She has everybody using, you know, the little terracotta plant plates, you know, that goes underneath the little mini terracotta pots. Because it's rough on the inside, she just rubs it around on the inside of one of those little plates, and it works really well. Okay, let's go ahead and pull out our bezel. So the question is, what soldering board am I using? I'm using a magnesia soldering board. You can also just use a plain old soldering board too. Some people like to use charcoal. The reason why I don't like to use charcoal is because it makes a hot mess out of my studio, and it's expensive. Okay, so then we're gonna go ahead and put it back into, because it was misshapen, I'm putting it back into a mandrel here. And I'm just going to shape it gently. Okay, let's check that. Like so. And so now you want to make sure that it is sitting flat on your, hold on. That it's going to sit flat onto your back plate. If it is not, then you're going to sand it. So just take out a little bit of sandpaper, and on a flat surface, give it a little bit of a gentle, like so. Okay? That's it. So for today, what you'll work on to prep for next week for soldering is you'll make your granules, however many you want, you know, 2 to 4. If you want some more decorative, then do a couple extra. We're using a 1/4 inch of fine silver wire to make that happen. You'll also cut your, wait, how did I just do that? I totally just lost my piece, my copper piece. Well, did anybody see? Seriously? I totally just dropped that. I have no idea where it went. Well, you should have cut out your back plate, right? And okay, I'm gonna zoom out and see if you guys can find this piece. I don't see it anywhere. Holy moly! What did I just do? Do you see it, babe? Nope. Okay. This is how it goes. You know, things just sort of get lost out there. I'm sorry? Near the bench pin. Bench pin, somebody suggests it's near the bench pin. No, the bench pin was sitting here. Oh. Annie says it's on the floor somewhere. Anyway, okay, I'll look for it after we're done. Sorry, I have no idea. I must have flung it somewhere. It seems to be a common occurrence. But anyway, okay. So you should have made your granules today. Don't lose those. Make your bezel cup, solder your bezel cup, and then make your little shapes to go around the edges of the top and bottom of your dog bone. Okay, so that is it for me today. We're going to finish this up next week by soldering all the pieces together, and then we're going to set that stone, and you'll see what step-by-step surprise pinched really is. Okay, so what else do we have going on? I just posted the April schedule, so if you guys are ready for the April schedule, you can take a look on the QTalk Facebook page. We are celebrating in April our 100 projects, virtual projects, and we're celebrating it with the Reliquary 100 is what I'm calling it, capsule. Okay, so although this chain is really short, you'll get 20 inches of chain. It'll be a necklace. And the cool thing is, you see, it opens up and there's a surprise message inside. Look at that. And it'll be double-sided and we'll connect it all together. I don't know. I love this piece. I've also posted the step-by-step surprise project for next month, and the Mondays next month we'll start going after Motley Metal is done. We're gonna go to Mix It Up Mondays, and we're doing a bracelet where we change out the focal point the focal every week. Okay, so that we also have a kit available for that. Oh, I forgot the reliquary. The Zoom is going to be free, so anyone can join us in that Zoom. The kit, however, is not, so you can order a kit. So with the kit, you'll get the written instructions and you'll get the recording for the Zoom. So if you're just attending for free, just come and attend during the session, okay? Coming up this weekend, just a reminder to everyone is that we are doing the cerulean ring, and it will be on Saturday. So as much as I'm reminding everybody, I'm also reminding myself so I don't forget. That would be horrible. Anyway, so then we also have the time capsules are already up and posted if you want to get ahead and get those kits. For the time capsule, you can do one, two, or three of the projects. And definitely if you do all three, there's a huge discount because you're not paying for shipping for each and every kit, that kind of stuff. Anyway, so that's what's coming up, and you can definitely see that on the QTalk Facebook page if you're not already there. So the question is, when is the Zoom? The Zoom for this one, I'm assuming that's what you're asking, is going to be in April. I want to say the 24th. It's a Friday. But again, the calendar is posted on the QTalk Facebook page, so you can take a look there. And every week, just to let you know, if you haven't all caught on yet, but every week before the start of the next week, I do post what's going on for the following week. And it's on the banner of the QTalk Facebook page. So you can always keep up with what's there. And the full calendar for each month is also posted there so you can see what's going on. So then that would be it for this week. So we have this Zoom on Saturday, and then next Monday we are going to do the Motley Metal Crosswinds project, and that's what that's going to be. For everyone else who's doing the kit, I apologize if there's a problem with the kit. I'll take a look at it. I see messages are coming up, and I'm going to readdress that here as soon as I am done. Outside of that, thanks. Stay dry out there. I see that many of you guys are under a lot of water, a lot of rain. So stay inside, stay dry, and I hope to see you on Saturday.